Hi
Hello,
everyone, how are you doing? Hello, Amy Street. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Very, very good. Happy New Year. Are we still allowed to say that the second week into January?
Yeah, I reckon so. First of Feb is we cut off.
True, cool. Well, Happy New Year, Amy. Happy New Year to all of our customers, hopefully on this webinar today.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Guys, thanks for joining. Today's session is going to be what to do with Vinny, and we're going to go through a December roundup. We had a really big release on the 23rd of December, and we've also had a release last week on the 4th of January. So we've got two quite major releases the past couple of weeks. Today's session, myself and Amy are going to run through all the new features. We are going to keep it to maximum, Amy, 30 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 30
Because
minutes.
last time, anybody that joined a webinar, we said it was going to be 30 minutes and it was 55 minutes. So we got a slap on the wrist. So
Yeah, that
max
was on
30
us,
minutes
but
today.
we had so much to go through. But
Yeah, we did.
now,
We've still got a
not
lot
as
to go through
much,
though.
not as much. So we're going to speedy on through it, but still some very, very exciting and long-awaited updates to go through.
Absolutely, absolutely. Guys, hopefully you can see us okay, you can hear us okay. We have got, same as usual, if you've been on our webinars before, we have got on the right-hand side a live chat box with a team of moderators. So any questions you've got, please feel free to just pop into there, add your questions. In terms of the agenda for today's session, so we're going to split this up into the two releases. So we've got Vincere Update 19.16, which was released in December, and then we've got Vincere Update 24.1.1.0. That's a mouthful in itself, which was released last week. In terms of the features we're going to go through, there's no kind of demo flow or really slick presentation as such today. We're just going to show you the brand new features, how they work, and how you can get the most out of them. So it might feel a kind of a bit here, then here, then here, but it's just to show you and demonstrate, where to find those features. Amy, what are kind of some of the key things we're going to run through today in the session?
And well, I think the main things, especially for me, the ones that have been the most long awaited and the most that I'm excited about, we're firstly making some enhancements to the way that you use data integrity inside the system. So the way that you can use the statuses as well as the tags and the skill codes. There are some upgrades there. Then the new feature of the personalized job lists. I've been very
Yes.
excited about that. So if you use the live list on the client side, we've got some really great improvements to show you what you can do on the candidate side, as well as just general admin improvements, like the way that you can import data, the way that you can view data inside the system when it comes to placements and to calendar information as well. So some great improvements to take you through.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we're going to do, guys, we're going to go through, we're not going to read through all of these now, but we're going to go through a lot of these in the session. But I think the main things for me is probably, as Amy mentioned, send personalized jobs, bulk update industries, functional, skills all in real time, new marketplace partners, company lists, which are essentially talent pools for your companies, which is a long overweighted feature, adding attachments when scheduling interviews, all that really good stuff. So we'll jump in and show you. Amy, should we dive in? I think we've got most people in the session now.
Yeah, let's
Let's
kick
do
off. I
it.
think it's quite exciting that we've got some great new features, but some fine tuning of older ones as well to go through.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the first thing we're going to go through, guys, is the brand new send personalized job list to candidates feature. So as Amy mentioned, this is essentially like the live list that we have for clients, but it's actually been turned on its head, and it's essentially the live list for candidates, and it allows them to view all the jobs, job descriptions, documents, and essentially accept or reject those in a personalized dashboard. Really, really cool feature. Um, we launched this feature end of November, and then since then we've also had some upgrades based on customer feedback. So now you can show and hide the company name. We support now five or six languages, and we've also fully optimized it for mobile. So we'll kind of go through that and just show you now. If you haven't used this feature yet, I'm just going to give you a quick demo of how to use it because it's a really, really cool feature and it's super easy to use. So essentially, if I'm a recruiter inside Vincere, I can just find the jobs that I want to share with my candidates. So for example, here, I've status filtered by hot job. I can check the box. I can then all of those six jobs, go across to send job list to candidates in the top right hand side. Okay. Then I can choose my candidates. So what here I can choose 100 at a time. So if I do, for example, we've got Lewis Hamilton, and let's just do Lara. And again, up to 100. I'm just going to do two for the sake of this. So we've got Lara there. Then we've got all those jobs below. So engineering lead, driver, data scientist, marketing manager. They're quite different jobs, but I want to send them over to my candidate. I want to send the job descriptions and I want them to choose and let me know what they're interested in. One new feature we added last week is the ability to show or hide company name. So again, some companies you might want to share with a candidate. In some industries, that's very, very applicable. In some industries, it's not. So you might say, actually, deselect all by default, and I want to share, let's say, the Amazon one and the Balfour BT. Okay, so I just want to share those two companies. We can also share job files in here. So for example, as a recruiter, I can click through and I can share, let's say, the employee benefits or the one pager or the job description. And what's really cool about this feature is you can check you're sharing the right document at this point of sending. So you don't have to open a new tab and find the job and click through. You can just see that job description there and just make sure you're sending the right document at point of setup. And the same for, let's say, project manager. I'll share the one pager, and then let's just do marketing manager, employee benefits. Okay, so they're the docs I'm going to share like so. When you're happy, hit next. That then takes you into the fully customized workflow. So again, this will send the emails individually to those candidates. If I need to change text here, I can. I can update anything I need in here. We've then got the job list button. And then when I'm happy to send, I'm going to send this out to those two candidates, so Lara and Lewis. Hit send, and then done. Happy days. So that's now basically sent out a personalized dashboard to those candidates with those jobs and all those relevant attachments. Just to show you what that looks like from now the candidate perspective, if I go into Lewis's emails, I've got access to Lewis Hamilton's emails here. But essentially, this is what he sees. So, hi, Lewis. Again, it's fully branded. It's fully, customized for him. Here's the jobs. I can then go through to job list. And then essentially what Lewis can now see is all of those jobs that I've just sent to him. So he can see his name, he can see his job title. The new feature we've added here is languages. So now I can put this into various languages as the candidate, which again is also makes it a truly global, database for your candidates. And then essentially what I can now do is if I go to the engineering lead role, I can see that it's alphabetic because we shared the company name. I can see it's in Winchester in the UK. I can see it's a perm role, but I want to see a bit more. I want to know the job description. I want to know the benefits and things like that. And I can then click through into docs and I can then view those documents now. So I can view that job description. I can go through and I can view, the one pager, the employee benefits. I can view any videos and things like that. I can view it all in one page. Really, really handy. And then when I'm happy, I can accept or reject from this view, or I can go and I can do it from the table view. So if I really like the look of this role, I can go through and accept that. I then have to accept the terms of service and the privacy policy, which again, you upload as the agency, and then hit confirm. And then that's it. That's all I need to do as the candidate. The recruiter will then get an email in real time. We'll update Vincere in real time, which I'll show you in a second, and then happy days. Just before we move on from this feature, you can also reject jobs as well. So if a candidate has looked at a role here and actually doesn't really want to move to Sydney because that's where Amy's based, and he doesn't really like
Why
Amy
would
that
you
much.
not want to live here? Best city
What
in the
he'll
world.
do, and it is sunny 6 months of the year as well, which I do love. But anyway, this is Lewis. This is not Matt. So what he can do, he can go to reject. He can say, don't want to move to Sydney. I can spell because Amy is there. And obviously we're being silly there, but just to show you how personalized this can be, and then confirm. And again, that will update the dashboard in real time. It will say rejected, and then that will update in Vincere. Really, really nice feature. And it just will improve your candidate experience massively. Amy, what's kind of early customer feedback from this feature?
It's been really positive. People have always wanted to push information out to the candidate, and it's a bit of a double whammy because not only are you sharing information, you're also gathering their consent at the same time. So it's really great to push that information directly from Vincere to your candidate's phone, straight back into your system. So really great feedback. I know that we've added some additional features in there, and I believe there's going to be that's something that we're going to be working on for more features in the future. So if you're using it, which we encourage you to because it's great, send us your feedback on it because it's definitely not finished.
100%. Yeah, it's Amy's exactly right. This is kind of version 1.3. So version 1 was the feature. 1.2 was the mobile optimization, which you can see here. So as you can see, it works fully on candidate mobiles, on tablets and iPads and things like that. And then 0.3 was the new languages, but we're going to be adding things like the ability to share talent pools. So instead of manually adding up to 100 candidates, you just choose a talent pool and things like that. But do let us know your feedback because it is a brand new feature. Just to finish up on this feature, if we just go back into Vincere and we go into applications, the applications view, then what you can see is those job consent statuses and the application status as well. And essentially what that means is all of that data that comes into Vincere from the portal is here. So we can see, if we just scroll down, Lewis Hamilton, project manager, Amazon, withdrawn, okay? I can click through to that as the recruiter and I can see, don't want to move to Sydney because there's Amy's there, dot, 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 dot. So all of that is syncing. I don't know if you can see Amy on the screen, but she's shaking her head right now. But all of that data is coming into Vincere in real time. And then the same for the engineering lead role, consent given, accepted candidate in the application status. And now we can move on to progress Lewis in the role. So we can now go through, check the box against that candidate, and we can maybe send to the client using the live list. So then the opposite of what we just showed for candidates, but for the client, or arrange interviews or request onboarding documents and bits like that. So it's a really, really handy feature, guys. So yeah, so make sure after the session you're using it. Anyway, enough of that one. That's I think we've gone to town on that feature. What's next, Amy?
It's a very exciting feature. So we have allocated a bit of time to it. But what I wanted to jump into now is something that has been a work in progress for a long time, and it is all about data integrity and making sure that the ease of using the system and then being able to find your candidates and everything is as simple as possible. So what we've done is the ability now to bulk update your tags. So that isn't just your industry and sub-functional and functional, sorry, it goes all the way through to the subs of those, keywords and skills. You can do this bulk candidates and bulk tags as well. So we've really streamlined that process of not having to update each candidate one by one. So you just select the one candidate or multiple candidates, and you can see that this pop-up comes through and you can mass tag either from your drop downs of the industries and functionals, or even your free text skills and keywords as well. So a really easy way to make sure that your candidate database is as up to date as possible. It's a really great way. You can also do this in the advanced search. So using the facets on the left-hand side in the advanced search, if you have been using those. If not, I recommend that you do. It makes life so much easier. Is you can filter by missing values and then mass update everybody as well. So another really great tool to keep your database as clean as possible. And I know a lot of people have been asking for this, especially in the new year. Big kind of resolutions to keep your database as up to date as possible. And this is really going to help you do that.
Absolutely. Really, really well explained, Amy. And I think just to show how easy it is, so as Amy mentioned, you just go to the candidates, you select the ones you want, you fill the fields in. We now know this is applied for 4 candidates. We've got all the tags here, hit save, and then done, real time. There's no lag. It doesn't take an hour to do. It's been completed in real time. And I think the real benefit of this feature is if you want to just check that it's been done in real time and you want to check your data integrity, don't forget you've also got the smart views. So again, from Lewis Hamilton now, I can't actually see that's been done unless I click through to the quick view or click through to his profile, unless I go into my smart views and I set up a smart view, which I've got one here, skills view. And as you can see, you can now see there they are. So construction, professional services, groundwork, all the things we just added, skills, keywords, they're all in there. And again, you can make this bigger, you can make this smaller, just so you can make sure that data integrity is on point straight away. And again, you can see those have been added for all of those candidates, and we mentioned there. As Amy mentioned, you can also do it from the advanced search. So you don't have to just be in the candidates view. You can be in the advanced search table, select the candidates you want, maybe the ones that are missing tags, and then add tags. So again, it's a feature that's been requested for a long time, and it's first of many in terms of bulk update. So we're allowing you to bulk update tags because that's probably the most pressing one that customers have requested, but we're going to be adding the ability for bulk updates in various areas of the platform throughout 2024 and beyond. So do keep your feedback coming. Anything else to add for that one?
No, I think that is pretty much it. As I said, it's very simple to be able to mass update those, but incredibly effective. So a great tool to be able to keep your data as up to date as possible. So yeah, really excited. And I've got a lot of very happy customers in Australia and New Zealand who have been waiting with that. So thank you for your patience. There, it is
Yeah,
now live.
absolutely. Really, really good feature. And guys, remember we have got the live chat. So any questions you've got about this, do feel free to put them in the chat and our team moderators will run through for you. And one thing hopefully you've noticed, you actually can't see it that well here because I've got so many tabs open, but we've also added brand new entity tabs. So now I can clearly see what tab I'm in. So for example, previously it would say Vincere CRM, Vincere ATS. But if you're in a candidate record, contact, company, job, placement, deal, invoice, it will now actually have the relevant icon. So I can hover over and see, okay, that's my Lewis Hamilton tab. So for example, if I've got loads of tabs open here now, like help center tabs and things like that, I can clearly get back to Lewis's tab super, super easy just by seeing the icon and then hovering over and it will show me his name. Just to show you
Yeah.
more examples of that, if we go into, let's just say, Emmy, what should we go into? Company, candidate, contact?
Go into a job, use your history. Let's
Oh,
go to your history, see what was in there. Say if you're
nice.
not
Let's have a look.
using, if you're using the tabs as your to-do list, which I do a lot of the time, this is going to make your life so much easier. But don't forget that the history is still there. It's still going to be able for you. So it's still showing the last 12 entities that you were on, and you can use the KIV, which is keep in view, to help navigate as well. But these new browser tabs are just going to enhance that experience for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we can see project manager there. We just open one at the end here. So we'll go into my demo site. It also works on quick view. So again, what's really, really nice about this, guys, is if I'm on, let's say, a candidate quick view or contact company job, it will also update the entity tab here. So we can see
Oh,
again then
I
Pep
didn't know that.
Guardiola there.
There we go.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, really cool. So hopefully as you've got loads of tabs open, you should start to be able to get back to them very, very
Mhm.
easily
Yeah.
inside Vinny.
Well,
Again, it seems like a simple feature, but a massive time saver, right, for efficiencies.
yeah, I mean, I've done training with people before and they've got over 100 tabs open and it used to give me an anxiety attack. But now, and they can see where they're at, so it's going to make life a little bit easier to navigate through the system for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't like a lot of tabs, and I've got a lot open now for this webinar, which has already given me anxiety. But we power
5 tab
through. We power
max
through.
in this house.
Um,
Um, so while we're here, actually, I can see that you have added some custom statuses to your jobs here. And you can do, again, as a reminder to everybody, you can do custom status across all of the 4 entities. But we have made some updates to that for you as well.
Absolutely. So one really nice thing here, guys, is when we brought the statuses in, I'm actually just going to go into my candidates view. When we brought the statuses in a while ago now, maybe like a year or a year and a half ago, people loved that, the ability to create custom statuses as a business and then tag that data up accordingly. One really nice thing, I'm just going to click out here and go to candidates, is the default was always active, 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 or for a company, I think it was new company, things like that. What we've added last week is the ability for your admins to actually set a default status tag. So for example, if I had a new candidate to Vincere, my default status tag is pre-reg candidate. And again, it's super easy for you to do. All you've got to do is go into settings, go into admin settings, number 1, organizational settings, this top one here, click edit, and then just scroll across here to status, or statuses rather, this one here. And here you've got your candidate, contact, company, and job. Same as before, you can add as many custom statuses as you like. You can configure them for your company. You can add different colors and things like that. What you can now do as an admin is set up the default for your company. So for example, every time we add a brand new candidate to Vincere, the status is pre-reg candidate. Every time we add a brand new contact to Vincere, the status is new lead in pink. Every time we add a new company, the status is new lead company. And every time we add a job, the status is new job, need to work. So again, it just gives you that flexibility to actually decide what the status should be, just so they're more meaningful from day one. There's no, there's no cut off. There's no admin needs to be done. As soon as I add the data to Vincere, it will get that status straight away.
And
Which
don't
again,
forget that
another
you
customer
can,
favorite.
yeah, and what I was going to say is some great use cases of this is don't forget that you can use the status as a save search field. So if you are going in as a resourcer or whatever that may be, create a save search where status for a new job equals need to work. And then every time you log into the system, you can load that search and you've got your list of jobs that you need to start working. So always think about these new features that we're providing and how that's gonna come into your real life kind of workflow. So don't forget that is a search field for saved searches, which is a very underrated part of the system, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really cool feature. Next one up is, I'm just conscious of time. I think we are on time, Amy. I think we've got about 15 minutes left.
We're pushing our luck, but let's keep going.
The next one is an update to tasks and meetings.
Yes. So previously, the tasks and the meetings were, very useful for yourself as the user, if you were the candidate owner. But now what we have done is update so that both the candidate owner and the placement owner of those tasks and meetings are able to have visibility and, I believe, make edits. No, not edits. Available.
I think you're talking about the wrong feature there, Amy. But I will jump in and correct you. So there's actually, Amy's talking about, we've had so many updates.
That's why there's two of us. I've mixed two things up, haven't I?
You have mixed two things up, but that's correct. So basically this update, we've had so many updates, let's make sure we get it right. So this update here is essentially when you were adding tasks and meetings to Vincere previously, if you're adding an assignee, so let's say I'm adding a task to Vincere and I go through and I add, let's just say my colleague Lynn is the assignee. So that's actually her task. I'm creating it. I'm the creator of the task. Lynn is the assignee. As the creator, I couldn't then change that because I'm not the owner of it. I'm not the assignee. I think that's what you meant when you said owner. You meant the task owner only. Just getting you some brownie points there.
Thank you.
But essentially, that wasn't my task anymore, even though I created it. And what we've now added, we actually had this request from a lot of executive search companies. We want the ability for the assignee and the creator to edit that task, because you might have like an executive assistant, or you might be working your role together, or things like that. So essentially now, if I go through and create a task, let's just say I create a task here for, hopefully I've got a contact in there called James. Yeah, there we go, James McGrath. Subject is task, meeting, like so. Lynn is the assignee. I can go through and add the description in here, attach files, things like that, and hit save. I'm now the creator of that task. Lynn's the assignee. However, we can both go through and edit. So again, it's quite a small update, but very, very useful in your day-to-day usage of Vincere. So I can go through and say task created by me, and I can go through and see it. And I go at the bottom, James. But I can now go through and still edit that. Whereas previously I couldn't. It was only Lynn that could do that. Whereas Lynn can also go into her taskbar and she can edit it and complete it as well. So nice, handy feature. Did you learn anything new there, Amy?
That was a great description of that new update. Thank you very much.
No worries at all. And then the feature Amy was talking about, which we'll jump into now, is if we just go into our calendar, and the update that we've brought in, again, I think last week or last week of December, is now candidate owner and placement owner can now view candidate activity in the shared calendar. So for example, placements, temps starting, temps finishing, perm starters, previously only the candidate owner could see that, where now the candidate owner and the placement owner can see all of those shared activities in the calendar. Again, just creating that visibility. If you are working jobs together, or, candidate owner is different from placement owner, which obviously a lot of the times it is, if you're doing 180 recruitment, there's now visibility across the board. I hope that's clear.
And to be a placement owner, you have to be assigned a percentage or a numerical amount in the profit split on the placement. That's how you can have multiple placement owners, should you need to.
Correct. Awesome. Right, what have we got up next?
We've got some very exciting CSV data import improvements, and that wasn't actually sarcastic because it did sound quite sarcastic, but CSV data import is such a great way to get data into the system and especially to top up, your database. It was quite limited previously, but we've made some great improvements into what can be added in via CSV import, how it can be added in, and that kind of user experience of adding that data in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we'll do for this one, we'll just show you in the release notes, first of all, what we've changed, because it just makes it super clear. I think so previously, when you were adding data to Vincere via the CSV import, it was limited in the way that you could only use the CSV data import to upload data if you'd previously used it, i.e. you've added, candidates from the CSV data import, They then get an external ID number, and then you can use that external ID as their unique ID, and then you can re-upload and re-upload and re-upload. However, if you'd imported manually through Velocity on LinkedIn or added manually, you couldn't then use the CSV. We've scrapped that, we've changed that after customer feedback, and we've now added the ability to import or update existing records or manually created records in Vincere. I.e., if I add a record to Vincere today manually, let's say through LinkedIn or through Quick Add Data, I can then use the CSV to link it because we're using the entity ID, not the external ID, which again is a huge time saver for people that are doing data cleansing or data enrichment or data lists that you've got in various places. You can now upload them to Vinny in 1 or 2 clicks, and you're just using entity ID there as well. There is a really, really clear article here on how that works. I think there's a video in there as well. Of course, any questions you've got, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll happily help you with this. And again, there's no charge for this, right? Data CSV import there's no professional services cost, there's no charge. It's just a self-serve way for you to enrich data in Vincere, which is awesome. That's the first update. The second update, which is really, really cool, is we're also giving you the ability to, again, Amy's clapping her hands. I don't know if you can see her. She is clapping her hands in
I don't know
joy.
if both of us come up at the same time, but
I
I'm
don't think
very
we do.
about this.
Yeah, the ability to import industries and sub-industries, functional expertise and sub-functional expertise directly from a CSV file into Vincere, which again is a lifesaver because essentially now we're allowing you to upload any data you want, pre-existing or new data, and make sure it's tagged up in real time in bulk, right? So again, it's all about these updates and are just about making Vincere a better user experience. They're not particularly new features, but it's just making it slicker and more intuitive and less clicks and just easier to get data in the platform.
You've
And
basically
again,
removed quite a lot of the limitations and just made it easier for anybody to be able to add data into the system.
absolutely. And remember, that's also permission based. So you can only add data if you've got the right permissions. So don't worry, people can't just add loads into the system unless they've got the right permissions, and just make sure it's tagged up. Again, it's actually super easy to do. It looks complex here, but we'll share the article in the chat. I'll pop up in a second. And just as long as you're following the headers, the Excel spreadsheet headers, everything will pop in seamlessly. We have also added some examples here of what the table should look like, just to make it super easy for you. And we've also added some new error handling messages. So again, which again isn't particularly exciting, but it's really important if you're adding data. Previously, if there was an error, you was just like, there's an error. Have fun trying to find out what it was. Whereas now we're actually saying there's an error because you've not, that file already exists, or the industry doesn't exist in Vincere, so we can't add that industry if it doesn't exist in Vincere previously, or you're missing a mandatory field. So it'll actually tell you where the error is, so you can go back to your CSV and you can update without just guessing essentially what the error was. So yeah, quite a big update there. Any questions, let us know, but hopefully you start getting these, the most out of that next couple of days and weeks.
Well, let's go on to, I think, the one that you're most excited about, Matt.
Yes. So guys, finally it is here. Company lists. Essentially company lists inside Vinny are talent pools, for your candidates, but for your companies. So that now allows you to come into Vincere, simply go to your company's menu on the left-hand side. You'll now see we've got a little icon here, company lists. And again, like I say, exactly the same as talent pools and distribution lists. I can have pin lists, I can have public lists, private lists, and essentially it allows me to just go through and have all of my companies grouped. So I might have Max A clients or FinTech London or Tech ABs or B clients, or there's literally like, Amy, what else would the possibilities are endless, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly the same as your distribution lists, right? But instead of it being against the person at the company, it's your companies itself. So you create them in the same way, you view them in the same way, but it's a really great tool to be able to segment those those companies into lists for you to view inside the system. So again, it seems small, but I think people are going to be using this as this is the hot new feature, right? So a really great tool is, as Matt's showing you here, you can create them in the same way. You select the companies, you've got the new action on the right hand side, which is add to company lists, and you can either add them to an existing one, or you can create a company list from that workflow there.
Yeah, super easy. Really, really intuitive. It's exactly the same look and feel as talent pools distribution list, so you don't have to learn anything new. And again, you can go through, you can create a new a list at this point. You can add them into existing ones. You can share them. It's super, super easy. And you can also add them from the quick add as well. So quick add, and then you've got company lists, and then you can add them in the same way you can for talent pools and distribution lists. So I think that's my favorite feature of the year so far. But we're just getting started.
Week 1.
Week 1, week 2, or
Week
whatever
2.
we're in. Week 2, week 3.
Depending on when you came back. But yes, so I'm very excited about that. I'm also very excited about the new feature that we're going to show you, which doesn't feel like it should be new, but it is new. And so essentially now, when you are scheduling interviews inside Vincere, you can add attachments. Previously, you could always add files to this email invite if the file was on the job. If the document had already been uploaded to the job, it would appear in that dropdown. But of course, you know, there's going to be ad hoc files that you need to send for this one interview. So we've now added the ability to add those attachments from your computer whilst sending the invite. So again, really, really small improvement, but is going to streamline that process for you. I know, again, this was a lot of feedback that came through, so that is now live for you and will hopefully make those interview schedules much more streamlined inside Vincere.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really cool feature. You can also have multiple files here, so it's not just one. You can have multiple files. I think it's max. Don't quote me on this. We'll put it in the chat. But I think it's 10 meg
We're going to fact check you. Yeah.
file. We'll do a fact check. So we'll add that into the chat as well. It's all in the help center article where it explains all of the details. The other update to this as well. So even though we're a recruiter now adding the files on the fly to this particular job, as an admin, you can also add these to the templates, which again is super, super cool. I actually only found this out last week. So if you just go into settings and then you go into email templates, I think it's 2.12 and 2.11. Again, we can fact check if we need, but I think I'm right on that one. ATS 2.11. Yes, I am. 2.11, 2.12. That's sad I am, but I know the email templates off by heart. As an admin, you can add the attachments here. So if there is let's say you always want, I don't know, a background check going out at that point, or you want a particular file that always has to go out, and you don't want necessarily to have the recruiters to have to remember, you can add that attachment here like so. And then every time we get to that stage in Vincere as a recruiter, it will automatically have that attachment, which again is cool. It's a really, really cool feature. It's a bit hidden away in here. But if you have got files that you always want to send, make sure you, as your admin, you add these in there because it's a very, very nifty feature. And again, you can have multiple, not just one or two. Cool. Right. What else? I think we're there, Amy. I think we're nearly there.
We have two new features. We have hit the 33-minute mark, so we are really pushing our luck now. So 2 more features, guys. While we're on email, I guess we can. Oh, I missed one. Oh, the access identity login.
Yes.
I will let you explain. You are far more eloquent.
All this is, guys, we're basically just upgrading the architecture here. So when you log into Vincere, I'm just going to pull up actually the Help Center article so I can show you in more detail where this is. And again, you can access this if you need as well, and it has all the information. But essentially, when you log in after the new year, you'll see this pop up. So an access account is required. Remind me later or create a new account. We recommend doing it as quick as you can, but the hard deadline will probably be March, April time this year. So there's no real rush, but we do recommend just doing it as soon as you can. Essentially, all you'll have to do is you'll just be taken into this screen. If you hit create new account, you'll be taken to this screen here. You'll have to go through and enter a new password. Make sure it's a secure password, so 10 characters long, not commonly used, and it has a strong score, very, very similar to most SaaS platforms you use. And when that's done, that'll then be done. You'll just close the tab, and then you'll log into Vincere in the exact normal way. So every time you log into Vincere, it will take you to the access screen first. You'll enter your password, and then you'll be back into Vincere. So there might be some confusion here. It's not a brand new account as such. You're just basically updating your password, and it's just increased security, and it'll also allow us to provide more products to you later on. So kind of second half of this year or first, first half, second half of H1, I'm trying to say. So
maybe I'll take the eloquent phrase back. But just
halfway through the year.
Yeah, halfway through the year, there you go. But everyone who logs into Vincere does have to do this. It's not just an admin thing. It is everybody who has a login to Vincere will need to eventually create the access identity.
Yeah, Absolutely. And then the benefit of this is obviously we've got increased account security, which everyone wants that. But we'll also have single sign-on to other access products. If you are using other access products in the family, for example, Volcanic and Fast Track and things like that, you'll be able to connect to them seamlessly using Vincere, and also access Copilot, which is our brand new AI tool, which I can't say too much at this stage, but we are launching it later on this year, halfway through the year. And you need the access login to be able to access that. So yeah, so when the pop-up appears, like I say, remind me later if you need. It'll pop up every single time you log into Vincere, so just recommend doing it as soon as you can. But you have got a couple of months to get this done. Any questions, guys, please reach out to us. Don't struggle in silence, and we will help you through it.
Last one.
One more feature, right? Yeah, over to you.
So the last one is one that we've been waiting for a little while. Again, it was a big project to undertake, but we have now, well, almost globally, we've still got the EU to finish, which will be done in the next 1 to 2 weeks or so, but your emails are going to be synced in real time. And before it was twice per day and you could manually refresh, which was fine. But this is much better, obviously, for user experience. So as soon as you send an email, it is going to, in real time, sit against that entity and your inbox in Vincere. So very excited for this one. It's going to make that usability of ensuring people are sending emails from Vincere, either or from their inbox, all comes back into their entity and on their record in the system. So there's no kind of confusion of communication, basically. So everywhere is done, except for in the next week or 2 weeks, I think. The EU will be finished, and then we'll be real-time sync.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very cool feature. So again, guys, let us know your feedback on that. That's a customer request that we've had over the years. So we do listen and we do build where we can. But that was we had to change the architecture. It's a very, very big technical upgrade, that one, which is why it's taking a little bit longer. So as mentioned, APAC's done, AU's done, UK's done, just EU is just taking a little bit longer for the indexing, but that should be done in the next couple of weeks or so, by the end of Jan, easily. Cool. So guys, we did it in 33 minutes or so. We went through all these new features. 36, nearly.
Yeah.
At least it's not 50.
Yeah.
Just before we do finish up, guys, in terms of help and support, so all of these features, as we demonstrated throughout the session, they are in the release notes. So if you head to our help center, the help.vincere.io, we've got platform updates 19.16, and then the new one from last week as well. And again, these updates, we have changed where we do these past couple of weeks. So they're really, there's GIFs, there's videos, there's what's in it for me, like blue bubbles. So it makes it really clear why you should care about these features. So do have a read if you haven't already. We've also got the live chat and support. So again, if you have got any more questions or you just want a bit of handholding, do feel free to go to the live chat in your account. One of the support team will happily help you out. Please don't struggle in silence. The other one is we have relaunched our product feedback portal recently as well. So again, it's the same link as it was before, productportal.vincere.io. This one at the bottom. But essentially now we're really driving a lot of this product feedback you've just seen. I think 75% was from the product board. It was from customers voting for ideas and giving us feedback. So we really are listening. And look, we can't build everything. We've got 22,000 users globally now. But what we're allowing you to do is add your features, give us your feedback, and then vote. So go through. I'm actually just going to show you where to do this. So if we just go into the product board, which I've got the link here. Yeah, you can go through and you can vote. So we can go through every month or so, myself and the other product managers in Vincere, we go through and we add those features in here. And then we're not going to definitely commit to building them, but we're going to give you the option. We're going to say, look, go and vote. And then we'll look at this every month or every quarter and we'll say, look, this particular feature has got, 45 votes. And this one here has got 170 votes. So actually we're going to build 170 because that will help the global customer base globally. So do make sure you're using this particular feature, give us your ideas and let us know. The other thing that we actually forgot to mention in the main session is updates wise, we've actually added loads of new marketplace partners the past couple of months. So again, you can see these by going into newly released features, scroll down, and then they're in here. So we've added things like we've got Sourcewell, we've got VXT, we've got rSign, Ringover onboarded. There's so many new integrations here. We're adding literally weekly and monthly. And again, that's from customer feedback. So do let us know what integrations you want to see. We will work with those partners to try and get them in. and then we'll add them into the newly released features section here as well, and on the release notes. If you are interested in any of these integrations, all you've got to do, just click through to it. So let's just say ring over, a few more here, and then you'll see a little video on how the integration works, fill your details in, and then one of the team will get in touch to get a demo set up. So it's super, super easy for you to do. And I think, Amy, are we done?
That is that we
Let's see what the last slide is.
more time than we said that we would, but that is
only just though
what we do. Only just. But it's our first webinar of the year. So, getting back into the swing of things.
It is. So guys, thank you very much for joining. Any questions, let us know in the chat. Have a fantastic new year. And this is the first of many for this year. We've got some really, really exciting stuff dropping the next couple of weeks, months. So by the end of when we do 2025's webinar, we're going to have even more stuff to go through. So Amy, get strapped
2
in.
hours in your diary.
Yeah. But no, guys, generally, thanks for joining. Have an awesome start to the year. Feel free to follow us on social media, and we'll speak to you very, very soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.